Hey all, this is 012 Boku, and I'm coming at you with a television review again of 24 Season 1. That is right, we are moving right along with the 24 Season 1. Also, if I do cut out here and we have to do a new thing, been finding out that my camera that the line may starting to be a little stretched or caught or getting old and starting to fray and unravel. So I discovered that's why, if you guys have been seeing some of our YouTube things, why we've possibly been having some camera issues, because I think the camera's just getting old and, holding in together, which again, I know they don't make this stuff useful. Plus, I admit I have moved this thing a little back and forth a lot, and, probably I've been some breakage. Plus, I have fallen out of bed since this is near my bed, and I've kicked my monitor a couple times accidentally. But yeah, I'll just keep an eye on that. So who knows? If the camera does get really bad, we may just have to move to audio only for a while until I save up for a brand new type of camera for my thing here. But we are on 24 and we are on hour 10 through 11 a.m. And with this one, we have Jack Bauer. If you remember, he got into the limo with Ted Cofell, and he goes through and starts to interrogate Ted Cofell in this one. Ted is shocked that he's not with his real driver, so Ted Cofell's trying to wonder what's going on. Jack Bauer tries to make it very clear to Ted Cofell that his name has shown up on a terrorist list with an account and that he's been paying terrorists. Ted Cofell is playing this thing. If he doesn't understand, he has a family. He's very frightened, has a heart condition. He's very intelligent. He has an ego about it, according to the info Nina Myers gave him. And, it's all coming oddly together, but Ted Cofell is not cooperating. Within this one, however, Jack tries to basically play fear tactics, shoving a towel down his throat, pulling out his stomach lining, beating against the car, using his gun, making quick movements to intimidate Ted Cofell, which, is not, the best type of thing they can always completely use for everything. You also have a part where Jack Bauer knows that Ted Cofell is meeting with a man named Kevin Carroll. We do not know who Kevin Carroll is yet, so he takes Cofell to the parking garage. When they're at the parking garage, Jack is interrogating Ted Cofell one more time. Ted Cofell, during this time, as they were driving to the parking garage, takes out a type of switchblade knife, which is a very high-tech switchblade knife called a Microtech Halo, as Jack Bauer called it. Really don't know what those are, but I know that is what it was a giant-ass switchblade. He tried to use it against Bauer. Bauer blocked it and stopped him. He punches, I think he sort of breaks Cofell's arm, and then Cofell starts speaking Serbian, saying this is not the real Ted Cofell. And, but apparently he does have, the actual conditions of Cofell, or maybe it was Ted Cofell, and Ted Cofell was just a guy's name. I've never really understood what it was, but, Jack Bauer basically wants to know more information from Ted Cofell, since Ted Cofell gave up that he was Serbian and won't understand it. So he does make a punch at Cofell near his heart. Cofell starts having a heart attack. Jack tries to get him to take the medicine. Cofell doesn't take the medicine and, dies. So there's that. As you can imagine, Jack is breaking down because he can't find his family and he's desperate, but he tries to go through with the meeting with Kevin Carroll because he doesn't know if he's going to show, but he's late, but he's going to take a stab at this anyway. You also have, let's see, wrote down, oh yes, Alberta Green is still playing hardball with Nina and Tony, trying to get information. Tony's covering for Nina. Nina's trying to get all this information from Jack, and they're going back and forth, just trying to figure this whole thing out, to seeing where it will lead and where it is going. But, it's just becoming a huge sort of cat and mouse game between the three. So it's really imploding there. You also have, let's see, trying to look here. Oh, you also have, I forgot here looking at my notes, Nina, or not Nina, Kim and Teri still being captive, trying to find ways. Rick goes in, he's wanting to know how, they got their phone, Eli's phone, and what happened and what led to it. He's trying to ask him questions, but he also slips Nina, he slips up, not Nina, Teri and Kim a gun. And, but he doesn't want to know anything about what they're doing or who they talk to. He goes back up to Eli. Eli starts kicking the crap out of Rick, sadly, and Rick takes a pretty vicious beating from Eli. Andre Drazen, this huge benefactor, shows up to Ira Gaines and tells Ira, have you found Bauer yet? And Ira Gaines is like, no, but we're hoping to hear from him soon. And Andre Drazen gives Ira Gaines half hour to hopefully produce a result. Otherwise, they're going to be forced to pack up. And over time in this episode, as they're waiting, you have Ira Gaines, waiting, nothing happens. Andre Drazen says, your time's up. Ira Gaines gives the order for Eli to kill Teri Bauer and Kim Bauer. And as Eli goes to do this, he tries to go in, tries to shoot him. But then you have, Teri fight with Eli. Eli shoots Teri off. You have basically Kim fight with Eli. During the scuffle, as Kim and Eli are rolling around on the ground, Eli drops his gun. And, I forgot. Teri tried to shoot Eli first with Dan's gun, but the safety was still on. And Eli started tangling with all of them. Then Kim got involved. How they started rolling on the ground. The gun fell out of Eli's pocket. Teri picked up that gun, shot Eli in the back right when Eli was about to take his switchblade and stab Kim with it. And then, Eli goes down. You have Teri Bauer essentially do the double tap to where, they were expecting 2 shots. We have to, make sure this is done right. And then that's sort of where that goes. Oh, yes, and what I'll do before I get to the end with Jack is that as well. You also continuing the things with Senator Palmer at the school. Senator Palmer meets with Carl, and they were meeting up for that meeting. And, there's this whole thing to where Carl essentially, tells David, what did you want to meet about? And you have Senator Palmer say, are you possibly going to kill someone? And he's like, David, I'm not going to deny anything's going on and doing this, but we're not going to kill anybody. He's like, but you just said you're not going to deny it either. And it's like, well, okay, I deny it, believe me. And then Senator Palmer doesn't believe it or not. And Carl Webb is like, David, these people are going to get what they want one way or another. Their thing was to see you in the White House, and they're never going to let this go. They want you to get what they want for them, and they want to see you in charge. And, you have Senator Palmer basically look Carl right in the eye. I don't think it's exactly what he said, but he's like, I'm not for sale. I don't work for you, or I don't work for anyone else. And Carl Webb probably has one of the best villainous lines ever. He's like, David, you and I have never worked for one or the other or each other. You and I have always worked for them. So it's just such a sinister line. And Zach Grenier, who plays Carl Webb, delivered it so well in this episode. So, that's continuing. And, I think at this time, too, Senator Palmer is also distrusting Sherry more. Because I think in this episode he asks, did you talk to Carl? And she admits that she did, but she didn't know what Carl was planning. And it's, driving a wedge further between them. And, we get back to Jack Bauer, where Kevin Carroll shows up. And Kevin Carroll is actually Alan York. You have Kevin Carroll go into the car. He finds Ted Cofell dead. And then, you have Jack Bauer say in a classic thing, he's like, hello, Alan. Or is it Kevin Carroll? And then, Kevin Carroll's trying to shoot at Jack Bauer through the divider. But as you know, the divider is bulletproof, probably for anyone getting to Ted Cofell or his driver. And then, you have Jack drive around a limo at fast speeds. Kevin Carroll hits the dash when Jack brakes hard. He ties up Kevin Carroll, and then he's trying to make a deal saying, hey, you take me to my family, I'll let you live. Kevin Carroll tries to resist. You have Jack making very deep threats and punishing Kevin Carroll a bit more. Kevin Carroll knows that Jack Bauer isn't bluffing and that he'll take Teri and or he'll take Jack to Teri and Kim, and as they're driving away, Jack wants to know where they're going, and Kevin Carroll just says at the end of the episode, I'm taking you to your family. So very, very high-end, high-octane stuff. So it's just very well done in this episode. And as you guys see, I'm going to try to do more tight reviews, so we're not going way over time. I'm going to try to really summarize really fast what goes on in these episodes. But my favorite characters, again, Kiefer Sutherland, Jack Bauer, always good. I have to give it to Dennis Haysbert, Senator David Palmer. Very good performance in this episode. Very good stuff. I loved it. Let's see. And then I have to give it to Zach Grenier, Carl Webb. Just great villainous line, great villainous work in this one. And also have to give it to Curry Graham, Ted Cofell, who played Curry Graham, who played Ted Cofell. Great, innocent, sort of nervous portrayal, but then when he goes full villain in Serbian, he's just so well good and knocked that out of the park. I have to give it to Penny Johnson-Gerald, who played Sherry Palmer, her little interaction with David Palmer about lying to him and knowing if she talked to Carl. Very good as well. And then I will also give it to Richard Burgi, Kevin Carroll, for his interaction with Jack and everything. Just, again, great villainous stuff, great stuff that he knocked it out of the park. Overall, this episode was very good. You can tell it's building up greatly to where Jack gets to his family and where it's going. It's just so well done, and I love it all. But, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you like where this is headed and what it's doing? Just leave a comment down below and we'll get this discussion going. Until then, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another review, and I will speak to you guys again later, all right?